The political party widely considered a proxy for Myanmar's military junta has now declared a landslide victory in the three-phase elections that wrapped up last weekend. Much of the international community has dismissed the vote as a sham designed to shore up the military's rule. International correspondent Claudia Farhat has more on what comes next.
This result has come as a surprise to practically nobody. The military-backed Union Solidarity and Development Party had already reached a supermajority in the parliament after just the first two rounds of voting because no genuine opposition groups were allowed to run in this election. Now this new parliament needs to name a president, and it's widely expected that's going to be General Min Aung Hlaing, the man who led the coup overthrowing Aung San Suu Kyi's democratically elected government 5 years ago. So analysts I've been speaking to say it'll effectively just be these military leaders hanging up their uniforms and putting on civilian clothes instead. It is still going to be the same regime running the country. So in that sense, they're not expecting much change. What will be interesting to see is whether there's more international engagement with this new government when it takes over in April. The rest of ASEAN largely shunned the junta after the coup. They weren't allowed to attend any meetings from 2022 onwards, but we're already starting to hear a push from some member states to change that.
We're proposing that there'll be a sort of calibrated re-engagement where we have benchmarks and it should be a two-way street. We engage, they have to respond positively, do some positive things that we can build on so that eventually we hope that Myanmar will return to the table.
And we're also watching to see how this might impact the ongoing civil war. The military will no doubt be using this result to argue that they are now the rightful leaders of Myanmar in full. But that doesn't change the fact that more than half of the country is still either controlled or contested by various ethnic armies and resistance groups. In the months leading up to this vote, we did see the junta start to take more territory, and that was largely thanks to China stepping up its military support, supplying the aircraft that allowed the junta to launch really devastating airstrikes. China was also the biggest backer of these elections. If it uses the result as a reason to ramp up that military support further, then that could have a real impact on the course of this war.
International correspondent Claudia Farhat reporting there.